Hello, I'm Neil Quigley and welcome to the latest episode of my Blogcast. Hope you're well and you've had a good couple of weeks. Mine have been relatively low-key. Before the Premier League football season started, I went to Tottenham's final friendly at home against Bayern Munich. It was agreed as part of the transfer that saw Harry Kane leave to go to the German club. I had been following Spurs online during their pre-season overseas tours and was quite encouraged to see some of the young players coming through and the young players that we bought getting their first chance in the first team. So I was quite excited about seeing them, but obviously the main reason I wanted to go to this game was to see Harry Kane back, to give him a proper send-off and just see him in action again. He, of course, had been playing for England in the Euros and had been carrying a bit of a back injury. Therefore, he was very late back into training with Munich, so he only made the bench for this friendly, although we did get to see him warm up initially, and then he was presented alongside Eric Dyer with a special cut glass decanter to mark their time at Spurs before kickoff, which was great. The game was not brilliant from a Tottenham point of view. I didn't think we played that well. We took the lead in the first couple of minutes, which was great, but we weren't playing particularly well. That said, I was quite impressed with the way we were playing, and you could see they were trying to get things together and get their fitness. And it was a very scratched team. The two different teams that played each half for Tottenham contained players who probably would normally be together in the first team, but they were split up for the purposes of this game. I particularly enjoyed seeing Lucas Bergvall, who is our young player from Sweden. I really like the look of Archie Gray, who we bought from Leeds, and there were a couple of young players who came on. Will Lancashire, who is a centre forward, who was the top scorer in the under-21 league last year, and also a very exciting prospect who has just turned 17, but he was 16 when he made his debut for the first team last season. That's Mikey Moore. He could be some player. So it's great to see them and the old familiar players like Heung-min Son, James Maddison, Mickey van der Ven, Christian Romero, and our keeper Vicario. Great to see all them back. But the best and weirdest moment came in the 80th minute when Harry Kane came on for Bayern Munich. It was so weird seeing him come on to play against us and wearing red as well. They gave him the captain's armband when he came on. And in the 10 minutes he was on, he just showed us exactly what we were missing. He really is some player. The way he wins headers, his touch, the ability to hit amazing passes. He had two very good chances during the time he was on the pitch, and he really should have scored at least one of them, although I'm thankful he didn't, as that would have been a bit weird. I think seeing him score against us, I don't think he would have celebrated, although I'm not one of those people who are that bothered about that really. If you've moved to a different club and you happen to score against your old club, I think it's very hard not to celebrate a goal, because that's the whole point of football. So I don't really hold that against former players if they do that. Makes sense. That said, Harry Kane at the end, when the game had finished, Bayern had won 3-2, and it was a pre-season cup competition sponsored by Visit Malta. So there was a cup to collect for the winning team. Harry Kane was obviously the captain when the game ended. They tried to send Harry up to pick up the trophy for the team, but he politely declined and gave the captain's armband to the captain who started the game and basically sent him to pick up the trophy. And Harry just kind of hung in the background and didn't get too involved, which I think was quite nice. And I understand fully why he did that. It was a nice mark of respect. He got a great reception from the Spurs fans, and he did a lap of honour, to which he got a huge round of applause for at the end of the game. It was good fun, and the best thing about pre-season football friendlies is you could just enjoy them. The score does not really matter that much. Now, though, we are fully into the Premier League season, so every game really counts now. After I'd been to that Spurs friendly, I went and met my girlfriend Linda in Islington, as she had some vouchers for the Oaxaca restaurant there. We like that brand of restaurant. We go to the two of them that are centrally based in London quite a lot, so we thought we'd give this one a go. She had arrived early and found herself a table. I got to the restaurant and said, oh, my girlfriends are already here. I'm coming to find her. I thought they might try and direct me in the right direction or show me where she was. And they just went, no, go ahead, have a look round, try and find her. And it took me about 5 minutes. I walked all over the restaurant before I eventually found her, hidden behind some plants. Now, I don't know if this is an Islington thing in general, as I'd eaten in another restaurant a couple of weeks before. They seem to have a more relaxed, laid-back approach to serving people than they do, say, if you're at a restaurant in and around Leicester Square or Covent Garden. I'm guessing maybe it's because in those restaurants they need to turn the tables round quicker, so they need to get you in and out. Here, they gave you a bit more time to enjoy yourself and relax. The other good thing about Oaxaca is they are very good with gluten-free food and with celiacs as well. They have procedures in place to try and make sure things are as safe as they possibly can be. Unfortunately, though, when one of my meals came out, it was a little bit overdone. I ordered a halloumi dish, and when it came out, the halloumi was a little bit burnt. It was so tough, I couldn't actually chew through it. And being very British, I didn't really want to send it back. So I almost wasn't going to say anything. But then the waiter came over and I was like, well, actually, the halloumi is a little bit overdone. He took a look at it and he was like, do you want me to replace it? And I was like, well, no, I'd already eaten half of it. And I was like, no, it's all right. I'll just leave it. It's just one of those things. And he was like, no, I'll replace it. So he did offer to replace it and took it away. I could see him showing the manager and there was a bit of head nodding going on. And then another dish appeared and that was fine. I enjoyed that. The meal was very nice. We had a good time in there. It was very relaxed and very chilled. It was getting quite late by the time we'd finished our main. So I wasn't going to have any dessert. But then at the last minute, they brought the menu over and I did decide to have their chocolate and vanilla sundae, which in the end, I'll be honest, I was glad I did. It was very tasty, but it was definitely finish the pudding and then we got the trade home, which wasn't as straightforward as it could have been, as there were some delays from our station in London that would have taken us straight back to the local station we wanted to get to. That wasn't happening. 3 trains have been cancelled. So there's a slower overground train which takes us nearer to home, near enough for a taxi. So we did that and then got a taxi home. And that seemed to work out okay in the end. But there's always the extra excitement nowadays of getting home if you are using public transport. Somehow, over the last couple of years, my girlfriend Linda and I have built up a bit of a Scrabble battle. We are both very competitive people. We do enjoy the word game. She will probably disagree with this, but I think the stats back it up. We're quite well matched when it comes to playing the game and finding decent scoring words and having a good idea how to play the game to win. We do keep a note of the overall total on who has won the most games. It was a lovely sunny afternoon, so we decided to make the venue for this next big match Linda's back garden. So we got ourselves set up. I always do the scoring. I quite enjoy the mathematical part of adding everything up. We never actually properly read the rules when we started this tournament. So every so often I hear or read something online, which means we have to double check the rules and then realise we either hadn't been playing it quite correctly, or if we do something in particular, we actually score more points. So the game does evolve every time we play it. As I said, it does get very tactical and very competitive. The games generally last between an hour and a half because sometimes we both take ages planning our next move to make sure we can either get the maximum amount of points we can or ideally try and second guess what the other one is trying to do with their next move and put some sort of block in that to stop them getting extra points. I'm delighted to say I won this last game, which I was very happy about because that also puts me in the lead in the overall tournament. So my plan now will be to try and avoid playing Scrabble for as long as we can, or at least not play another game till I'm in a really sharp mood where I'm feeling not tired at all, feeling good and feeling like I could pull out lots of great words. Although, as Linda pointed out, and I'm not saying this is just because she was disappointed that she was beaten, she did say that she felt she didn't really have the right tiles. Does sound a little bit like a bad workman blaming their tools. Some people would say, not me of course, I totally understand. So we'll see what happens next time. I have really been enjoying the ITV racing documentary Champions Full Gallop. I am a fan of horse racing. I always go to Royal Ascot, the Cheltenham Festival and the Aintree Festival on Ladies' Day, the day before the Grand National. I have a very small amount of shares in a horse called Stage Star, who I've been to visit at his stables, which was amazing because I got to meet the trainer Paul Nicholls, and I've also met the stable jockey Harry Cobden before. He always rides Stage Star, being Paul Nicholls' stable jockey. They both feature in this documentary. It's very well done. I think it charts the end of last season. It was very competitive for the champion jockey title and also for the trainer's title as well. Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobden were fighting for both. I won't give away any spoilers here in case you're watching the documentary and are not totally familiar with what actually happened. One thing the programme has reminded me, and I kind of knew this because I had previously read A.P. McCoy's autobiography, jockeys are mad and some of the toughest people you will meet. As they do say in the documentary, and it's something I thought for a while, any job where they follow you round with an ambulance is quite a dangerous thing to do. You must have to really, really love it and enjoy it. One thing is for certain, and they know this, jockeys who go over the jumps and do national hunt racing, they are going to fall off. They are on top of a horse going into some fences or hurdles at around 35, 40 miles an hour sometimes. And if things go wrong, when you hit the ground, it's probably going to hurt a bit. They've all had so many injuries, broken bones, dislocated this. They are just phenomenal. They fall over, and as long as they can get back on a horse and ride, they'll go again. In the programme, they showed Sean Bowen, who was challenging for the Jockey's Championship with Harry Cobden. He had a fall and damaged his knee ligaments. That is an injury that would keep a footballer out for at least 6 months, possibly a year. He was back on a horse and racing within 6 weeks. They are just machines. Nico de Boinville has ridden with a broken hand and a broken collarbone. I know A.P. McCoy was riding with everything broken at one point. They are some of the toughest people you could meet. I know they don't look very big, but honestly, I have total respect for any jockeys. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the series, and it's quite fun seeing places where I've been to because it features, as you would imagine, Cheltenham and Aintree. It goes behind the scenes at Ditchit, which is where Paul Nicholls' stables are, and somewhere I've visited on a couple of occasions. So I'm looking forward to finishing that off, and I'm looking forward to the racing season ahead. Stage Star doesn't start his racing normally till quite late in the year, so we're probably not going to see him till late October, November, and hopefully he will get another race at the Cheltenham Festival at some point next March as well. Last weekend, we went for a meal in Prezzo. As we do relatively often, we go to the same restaurant that's near to Linda's or right next door to the cinema in the town where she lives, mainly because it's walking distance from her house, and also they are celiac accredited, so I know I can get a nice meal in there. And we like it in there, the staff are friendly, it's all great. So I booked us a table, we got there dead on time. We both have the taste card, and at the moment, Prezzo are doing a deal where you can get 2 for 1 on mains with the taste card. So we thought we'd use that as well. As we have them, makes sense to save yourself a bit of money where you can. I am slowly heading back to alcohol as hopefully my headache issues slowly resolve. I think with the acupuncture, that seems to be the thing that's helping them the most. So I had a glass of red wine. Linda had a glass of white wine. We had our starters, which were great, very enjoyable. Everything was going fine. Then they went to bring out our main courses. They sat mine down okay. And then there was a young lad who brought Linda's over. And unfortunately, when he was putting her plate down, not his fault, just one of those things, he just managed to catch Linda's wine glass, which sent it flying over. It smashed on the table. All the wine fell over my left jean leg. There was bits of glass everywhere. So very kindly, and for health and safety reasons, they obviously took all our food away because we weren't sure where the glass went. They also replaced both of our wines, which were half drunk. And because the table was covered in glass and wet, they moved us to another table. They were very nice about it. And me and Linda were very nice. We didn't make any sort of scene, or we weren't angry. It's just one of those accidents that can happen. And when you're as clumsy as me, that's the sort of thing that happens to me all the time. So it was all fine. We didn't really think any more of it. They bought us some more wine to replace the ones that had been knocked over or had glass knocked into them. They bought us fresh main courses, which was fine, which was great. We finished those off, enjoyed our meal. When we come to get the bill at the end, we obviously put the taste card through, so we were expecting a bit of a discount. Now, we do, as I said, use this restaurant quite a lot, and they felt a bit bad about what had happened. But as I said, it was an accident. We were not looking for anything off the bill. We were not thinking that way at all. We were all fine. They replaced our mains. They replaced the wine we lost. No problem whatsoever. However, when the bill came out, it was very, very cheap. In fact, it was £12.97 when it arrived. But that can't be right. So we're studying the bill. They're taking, obviously, one of our mains off with the taste card, which was fine. They'd also taken off £30 from the bill because of what had happened, which obviously we didn't ask for, but you can't really ask them, no, put that back on. So we did accept the very reasonably priced meal. And because we're nice people, we did leave a £10 tip as well. Otherwise, I'd have just felt bad, really. And we will be back. It hasn't made us not want to go back there. We will go back. We'd have gone back there anyway. It was an accident. These things happen. But yeah, bargain night out. I had to go for my annual checkup with the dentist in the week. Now, I've been very lucky over the last 20 years or so. Haven't really needed anything doing at all on my teeth. Normally, they have a bit of a check over, suggest I should go to the hygienist, give me some tips on trying to brush my teeth, and normally we're done. I do have an issue with my gums quite badly receded because I brush my teeth too hard, which I think has come from school. I remember people coming into my primary school, and I'm sure when they were telling us to brush our teeth with the old-fashioned manual toothbrushes, you had to give them a real good scrub, rub for ages, go up and down, side to side. I think that's what is done for my gums, the way I was taught to clean my teeth in school. That and the fact I drink a lot of tea and possibly tried too hard to remove the stains from drinking a lot of that. Anyway, much to my surprise, this time I do actually need some work doing. Apparently one of my teeth has almost lost all of its enamel and it's a bit worn down and it's not big enough or not secure enough to have a normal filling in it, apparently because of the lack of enamel. So I've got to have some sort of special cover put over it, which is going to be about a 45-minute appointment and it's going to cost me £100. But when you have the checkup, you kind of have to agree to have the work done at that point and agree to commit to the money they're charging for it, which I don't remember that being a thing last time I had some work done. Anyway, that's all booked in and in inverted commas, I'm looking forward to having that done next month. Hopefully they won't find anything else. You always worry about these things. When they find one thing and start working on that, sometimes these things can really escalate, can't they? Hopefully that won't be the case on this occasion. I went and saw the Fawlty Towers play in London last night. I will tell you about that next time we speak. That is almost it for this time. Just a reminder that you can hear my radio show Saturday afternoons between 2 and 4 at radio9springs.com. That is all for this episode. Thanks for listening. Look after yourselves and each other, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye-bye.